Hi guys, in today's clip I want to show you how to create a pattern similar to this. And you might have seen it on Pinterest or somewhere on YouTube. It's like kind of twisted, knotted patterns. And it's actually much easier than you think. So today I want to show you how to do it. And I'm using the easy fitting t-shirt pattern to do this. But if you would like this to be much stronger, and I recommend to draft a skinny fit block first and then use the pattern on this, especially if you want to use it for evening dresses. But nonetheless, it's also quite cool in a casual, more relaxed fit. So that's what we're gonna do today. You might have noticed that this is a long sleeve version, and actually in the video I will do short sleeve, and that is because I'm wearing it on top of the sweatshirt. I'm doing a double layer thing here and I really like it. So let's all have some fun and draft this twist. So in order to draft the twist into our pattern, we need to start with the full front, which means we have to trace two sides. So I'm starting with the right side. It's my first half, including all the lines, and now I'm flipping the paper block and placing it also under my tracing paper, and I'm tracing the other half. So for all kind of patterns that have an asymmetrical approach, we want to go full front. Now let's cut it out. There we go. And now we can start. So first things first, I want to change the shoulder and I want to change the arm sky. This is going to be a style without sleeves for the sample, so we want to adjust the arm curve a little bit, make it narrower, make the shoulder a bit shorter, because it's just a standard block and just leaving off the sleeves doesn't really look nice. So we want to make that a bit narrower to show a bit more shoulder. So these pieces will be cut off, and now we have to decide where to twist our pattern. So I have measured a point 17 cm from the right on the waistline, but this point is free to design. Now we want to mark a point under each armhole, 4 cm below, and then we want to connect them to our center of the twist. And now we're marking also lower points on the side seams, 14 cm below the waistline, and we're also connecting them to the twist. Now we have these diagonal lines and we have created 4 sections: the top, the left, the right, and the bottom. Once we've done this, we can create subsections. So each of our 4 sections gets divided into 4 other pieces, and we do that by drawing 3 lines. And we will use these lines to slash and open up our pattern. So this is exactly the points where we will add volume to our pattern. I'm marking the lines so afterwards I can somewhat align them. So the bottom section is the last section. I also separated into 4 subsections by 3 lines, and now I can cut out the main sections. There we go. I also removed the excess from my shoulder armhole area. And now let's start with the top and the right side. The left and the bottom I want to put a little bit to the side for now. So let's slash along the pink lines almost to the edge. We're leaving 1 millimeter so the pattern pieces stay intact. Let's grab a fresh sheet of paper and put our pattern on it. And now I want to flare the top section, and I'm flaring it from right to left. The first one 4 centimeters, the middle 6 centimeters, and the left flare is 5 centimeters. And as I go, I'm taping it down so it stays. And now I have to adjust the right section to the top part, and I'm mainly aligning it at the sides. The middle can just follow. So you can see now the amount that we have opened it, and this is like the drapiness, the pleat that we get in our twist. It's exactly that volume. I'm redrawing the outlines a little bit because afterwards I have to add seam allowance as well. So the first one is done, so I'm taking it off the table and I will grab a fresh paper now for the second part. And now we have to connect the left with the bottom section. And this time I want to start with the bottom part. I'm gonna slash along the pink lines real quick. And now I'm gonna open up the volume in a very similar fashion actually to the first pattern piece. A little bit more though, because this is kind of bigger. So I'm going for 7, 8, and 6 centimeters, and this time from the left to the right. So I measure from point to point, and while I do that, I'm sticking everything down with tape. So the first one 7 centimeters. And then the next one is 6 centimeters. Let's note that down. And then the last one, a little bit more, I'm putting 8. But these numbers are really free to design. You can put more, you can put less, you can experiment with it. It's really up to us. There's no rules. It's just depending on the material and on the effect that we desire. So I'm also making these outlines a little bit stronger. And now I want to adjust the flare of the left section to the flare of the bottom section. And this time I'm doing it much faster. I'm just adjusting the outside, the left and the right, and then the middle will follow. So I've added seam allowance, 1 cm everywhere, and now I'm done with my front. Now I have to adjust my back pattern. It's so far still the basic block pattern. So I'm actually using the piece that I have cut off the front. When I reduce the shoulder and change the armhole, I'm using this piece as a guide, and then I can easily do the same to the back now. And I'm also adding seam allowance, and I cut it off. So let's add some notches to the back. And I'm also trying to see how that actually works. So now, yes, this is how the lines connect, and let's mark under the armhole there. That was 4 cm. And now also 14 cm below the waistline, if you remember. And then we know exactly where to stitch the cutting lines on the front and match them to the back, which is very, very helpful. Always remember to notch. So I also grabbed real quick the collar pattern from last time, because I haven't changed anything to the neckline, so I can use that one for a good finish. And I want to cut the front pieces just like this. The fabric is not unfold, it's just a single layer, and I need to cut each piece once. I pin them down as little as necessary and as much as necessary, and cutting it real quick. Always try to put some weights on your pieces, because the fabrics might actually try to fall down the table. It's very slippery, especially this knit. And take your time, it's important to cut it well. Okay, almost done. And now it's time to cut the back. This one we want to cut on fold, so I'm bringing more of the fabric, but I don't want to waste too much, so I will just fold a little part on the side, just enough to fit my pattern on it, and then I also pin it down, and I use actually my little pin box there as a weight, because yeah, the knit tends to drag itself off the table. So let's cut that as well. There you could see the fabric is moving. Anyway, so we're done, everything has been cut, and I'm gonna snip the notches. I will now unpin everything, and I can't wait to try. So I'll put the paper away, and then let's test it. So I want to arrange them like this. Okay, one through the other. It's a bit of a knot twist there, looping through, and then yeah, it takes a bit. You have to pull it all out till it works. Now let's flip it and let's pin it. So what I want to do, I want to go from the side seams towards the twist center. I don't really know yet how much space the twist needs, so I'm gonna kind of work towards this point. But don't go too tight, you want to leave it a little bit of like room to move and to kind of do its thing. It's quite common that these sort of patterns cannot be stitched all the way through, so there will be a bit of an opening around the knot twist area. That's okay. We can just leave it like this. And the last one, the longest one. It's really important to do a very good pin job here, because the better we pin it, the easier it is for sewing. Like my old teacher Marlies used to say, a good pin is half of the work. So let's pull it a bit, arrange it, and there we go. Amazing. So there is the twist, there is the knot effect. And especially flat like this, it looks great. So let's stitch these 4 seams.
And basically exactly the way I pinned it, I want to take it from the side towards the center. But I'm not going too close to the center. I actually want to leave like a centimeter or two before it gets too tight there. And yes, as much as I hate pinning when it's an overlock job, it's very important to pin this because it's super hard to keep track of it all. But let's not forget to pull the pins out because they can badly mess up the blade. I've sped this up as much as possible, but at the same time I still want you to kind of see the process. So we're going seam by seam and working our way towards a full finished front. Don't forget the way we like assemble things. We try to finish each separate area and then we can focus on assembling the pieces front to back and then the sleeves to the body. In this case we don't have a sleeve, but we have a collar to do. So now that the front is completely done, I can attach front and back. And this time I'm going side seam first because I want to check if my notches were correct. And all fine. So I repeat that with the other side and then I can now do the shoulder. Once I've done the shoulder, I can put the collar and I'm done for this one. I'm not going to do anything to the hem because it's just a prototype after all. But obviously we can put a waistband or some other finish. Now, I have pinned the collar off camera very carefully and I've tried to ease the volume of the collar piece into the neckline. Don't forget that the collar is 5% smaller than the actual neckline measurements, so we have to incorporate, kind of deal with that and ease it all the way around so we get a nicely fitting collar. And then I slowly overlock it, I remove the pins and I'm almost done. Now, a little bit of steaming and ironing. I've been ironing the seams off camera all the time, but now the collar, last piece. And I can't wait for the reveal. There we go. So yes, what an awesome job. I love it.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked my video. Leave me a comment or send me messages online and see you next time. I hope you had fun. Bye bye.